back, guys. Welcome to Good Energy, where we talk tennis. And another great day of picks, guys. 80% win rate, that's what I deliver. Several locks came in today, and this is going to be another preview and prediction video, guys. So make sure you are signed up for the notifications when I release these videos. You will be alerted. The PayPal link is down there below. We're giving out a lot of great locks, so please donate if you listen to these videos. But Coco Gauff, guys, that was a lock. I said take her on the spread. She looks really good, and that was so confident of a pick. I said take her on the spread because I knew that would come in. She looks good. She's got a chance to win it all. Halep knew she would get the win over Flipkins, that match in straight sets. Amanda Anisimova versus Lauren Davis. That's a match I said, look, could go either way. Amanda quits. Lauren Davis is inconsistent, but nonetheless, if I had to pick a winner, it'd be Amanda, and that, of course, she won the match. Swiatek, I said, hasn't looked good. She's very shaky lately. I wouldn't touch her. I have Elisa Cornet beating her next. Martic over Kukova. That's a match I said Martic should win. Fretch and Smedlova, I like the first set to go over, but of course, look, those two ladies are just happy to be here. Harriet Dart and Pegula. Pegula was definitely a lock there. And Barbara Krejcikova was a guaranteed lock along with Coco Gauff and Pegula. Those were 3 locks there for you. Tan and Sriivas Turmal, I said, look, if Tan could beat Serena, she could definitely beat Sriivas Turmal. I thought Turmal would pull it off, but nonetheless, Tan did win that match. Watson over Wang, we had that. Bolter over Pliskova, we said, look, Bolter can beat her. Pliskova just hasn't looked good. Rabinkina, first set over. Rabinkina, match over. And Rabinkina, money line. We gave you 3 locks in one there. That was a good one. Of course, we had Elise Mertens winning that. Zhang, that was a lock we gave you. Aza Tomljanovic, we thought she would win. Didn't know how it would go, though. Could have been messy. And Elisa Cornet, first set over 8.5 games. That was another lock. So we gave you a lot of good picks there, guys. Hope you enjoyed them. Paula Badosa, first set over 8.5. That was another confident pick I gave you. And Kvitova getting the win over Bogdan. Guys, in terms of the top 20 seeds here at Wimbledon, there's only 12 left. So, which actually that's probably a good thing if you think about it. There's a lot of consistent players. I think 12 players out of the top 20 to make it to the round of 32 is pretty good. And of course, that's Iga Swiatek, number 2 seed. Kontaveit is out. Jabeur is playing good. Paula Badosa looks good as well. Sakari looks strong, but I don't really like how she looked her last match. She's going to have a challenge against Maria. We'll cover that a little bit later here. Pliskova's out, Collins out. Pegula looks good. She's getting her reps in, having not really played much grass pre-Wimbledon. Muguruza's out, hasn't looked good. Raducanu's out, taking a lot of criticism as normal. One slam wonder. Coco Gauff, with her new strength and conditioning coach, she looks very strong. I think she's got a good chance to win it all. Ostapenko, you never know what you're going to get. She can make the round of 32. I don't know if she'll make it to the quarterfinals, though. She's got a tough defensive matchup coming up. Krejcikova looks good. For her to make the quarterfinals, that would be big for her, especially on her comeback. Bencic out. Angelique Kerber's got a tough match coming up. I'll cover that shortly. Simona Halep is through. Rabinkina is going to have a tough match coming up as well. So is Amanda Anisimova. But let's get right into it, guys. This is a preview and prediction video, and let's start things off. Alright, the first match, let's get right into it. We have Jules Nemier versus Alicia Sarenko. And look, guys, these two ladies have never played each other before, and I think this is going to be a pretty exciting match. I mean, you have Sarenko, who is literally 10 years older than Jules, and this can go either way, to be honest with you guys. I'm not really confident one way or the other about this match, but I do know one thing. Sarenko's the much more experienced player, and she's 9-1 on grass this year, and she's got a lot of experience. Former top 30 ranked player, and she's really getting things back together here. I mean, she is on fire. She's won 8 of her last 10. She beat Carolina, she beat Barrage, Magdalena, Rabingana, she beat Heather Watson. And in terms of Julie, I mean, Julie had the huge win over Wong and, of course, the number 2 seed, Annette Kontaveit. Julie's won 8 of her 10, 8 of her last 10 as well. She actually beat Wong twice, and she's looking really good. I mean, you can't really ignore what she's doing as well. She essentially got her big break this year as well, but she's 3-2 on grass overall, 7-4. Tsarenko's got more wins on grass this year than Jules got on her entire career. But I do want to take a little closer look at, how they're serving and returning the ball as well, because that's going to play a huge role in this match here. Tsarenko, she's not a huge ace player. She's a type of player that essentially gets the ball in play. She's defensive. She can transition from, defense to offense as needed as well. She wins about 61% of her service games, and she's winning about 39% of her return games. So that lets you know she's a much better returner. And she feels more comfortable returning against opponents. She only wins 55% of her first serves. So that's a good stat to keep in mind, because Jewel is very volatile. She likes to mix it up as well. When Tsarenko has a chance to be broken, she saves about 53% of her break points, and she converts half of her break point opportunities. So keep that in mind. Jewel makes about 2 double faults a game. So although she's not the strongest server, she can get it in play, and she doesn't really make a ton of errors. She is definitely the older player, but she's the smarter player. Keep that in mind. Jewel averages about 5 aces per game, which is pretty decent. So you can definitely count on her winning about 1 service game off of her aces, and that's going to be huge here. But she's definitely the much better server. She has a first serve percentage of about 68%, and she wins 66% of her service games. So she's pretty good at holding, better than Tsarenko is for sure. Jewel does also make a lot of double faults, so she does give points away. Keep that in mind. When she has the opportunity for opponents, or should I say when opponents have the opportunity to break her, they break her at a 55% rate. She converts only 30% of her breakpoint opportunities, and she makes a lot of double faults as well. So for every ace she gets, she comes back with a double fault. Julie Nemrier is the favorite in this match. I don't think she should be the favorite. She did have that huge win over Annette Kontaveit, but Annette has not looked good. She's playing one of the hottest players on grass right now. All of the values with Tsarenko. So if I had to pick here, I would take Tsarenko to win this outright as the underdog. If you want to be safe, take Tsarenko to win at least 1 set. Wow, I didn't realize that last prediction took so long. I'm going to try to speed it up here. Ostapenko versus Big U. These two ladies, they actually played twice. The lower level ITF matches don't actually count. But yeah, they've played twice, and Big U's won both of them. Both of these ladies are hot. Ostapenko's won 8 of her last 10. Big U's won 7 of her last 10. And this is a match where Ostapenko plays pretty good on grass. We know that. She's got a couple grass titles already. Big U is 2-0 on grass, but overall has a losing record of 16-24 on grass. Look, 2 different styles, guys. We have offensive-minded, aggressive, and we have complete defensive player. Ostapenko averages 3 aces per match, and the reality here, that's a little low. She's historically average 4, so she's down, but she also makes a ton of double faults. For every 3 aces she makes, she gives them back in double faults. She's winning 70% of her service games, 40% of her return games. She holds 65% of her first serves. And when opponents have the opportunity to breaker, she saves about 58% of those, and she converts her break points at 49%. Begu averages just under 3 aces per game. She also makes about 3 double faults per game. She wins 68% of her service games, only 33% of her return games. That's a low number. Her first service won 64%. She converts her break points at 43%. That's a good number. Saves about 55% of them. This is a match that clearly spells over for me. And if I had to pick a winner, to be honest with you, I probably think Begu getting 4.5 games is a little too much, especially defensive minded she is. She's going to be able to save a lot of balls. She's more fit than Ostapenko. She's more of a technical, sound player fundamentally. So I like Begu plus 4.5 games, and it seems like a match that will probably go over as well. But the 4.5 games is more appealing, and I could definitely see Begu winning a set off Ostapenko. So I like the 4.5 games. All right, this next match here, it has the potential to be an upset, to be honest with you. Just like the previous match, Begu can definitely beat Ostapenko, but I like the 4.5 games there. Marie Sacre and Tatiana Marie. She prefers Tatiana Marie, but they've played twice. They've split the head-to-head. Old data, they haven't. I mean, they played at the Australian Open where Sacre won in straight sets, 6-4, 7-6. But other than that, Marie did get an ITF victory over 8 years ago in Marina. But look, two ladies that are playing very good. I've given out several picks of Tatiana Marie earlier this year with locks that have came in. The first 2 rounds I've given locks on her, and she's playing very good. I'm very familiar with her game. She's won 7 of her last 10 matches. Marie Sacre's also won 7 of her last 10 matches. Tomova pushed Sacre a little bit, but I do like the win over Serrana and Sharma for Maria. And Maria's been very, very active this year. I've been saying it. Look, she's played 53 matches this year. She's 36-17 overall. She went 15-6 on clay. Hard, she didn't do too well, but she's 7-4 on grass this year. I mean, Marie's only played 40 matches, also 7-3 on grass. But again, this is going to come down to, I think, the experience of Marie. Marie is very experienced. That's Tatiana, that is. But Marie Sacre, look, she's serving good, and like I said earlier, she doesn't get the recognition of being a strong server that she is. She's averaging about 5 aces per game. She's winning 76% of her service games, 35% of her return games, and she gets 70% of her first service in play. She's not making the double faults like she used to. Her and Coco Gauff have improved in that stat. Looking pretty good. Saving 62% of her break points. It's tough to break her. She converts 44% of her break points. Marie's not a huge server. She averages under 2 aces per game. Not a lot, okay? Not a huge server. And double faults about 2 per game, but she wins 80% of her service games. That's going to be huge. If she can do that here, she'll definitely cover the spread. And wins 36% of her return games. When she has the opportunity to break opponents, she's only doing that at a 36% rate, which is why a lot of her matches go over, but she does save 55% of her break points. This is a match where I'd like Tatiana getting 4.5 games, 6-4, 6-4. I can see that happening, but I do think Marie Sacre will win though. Alright guys, we're halfway through, and if you've listened so far, please like the video, please donate to the PayPal, and I have 2 locks tonight, and this match is going to be one of them. Xiao Zhang and Caroline Garcia. These 2 ladies have played a total of 3 times, and Zhang owns head-to-head 2-1 with the most recent coming this year in Lyon. That's where Zhang won her title against Diana Yastremka. And Garcia played a good second set. She lost the first set 6-2, second set went 7-5. The crowd, of course, in France, the crowd was behind Garcia, but she couldn't pull it off. Zong won the previous meeting at 2019 Wimbledon. That was a year where Zong was just frustrated. I actually saw Zong that year in New York a couple times, and she was in pretty good shape, but she got bounced out early in New York. Garcia won the only meeting 8 years ago in Beijing. Look, Garcia's hot. We know she got the championship at the Bad Homburg against Bianca Andreescu, and she's won 8 of her last 10, and she's on a 7-match win streak. Okay, pretty darn hot. And Zong herself, she's won 8 of her last 10. She's on a 2-match win streak. These two ladies, I mean, they're both hot. I do like the win over Kashuk. A lot of people felt Kashuk would just overpower Zong, and I like the win Garcia had over Raducanu. A lot of people felt Raducanu would beat Garcia again with her backhand, but Garcia's forehand proved to be too strong. Zong is 8-2 on grass this year. She's 21-16 overall this year. Garcia's only 16-11 this year, but she's 9-2 on grass. Both ladies are playing very, very good on grass. And right away, you have to potentially consider this match going over. You have to, because both of these ladies are playing so well. But in terms of Zong, she averages 2 aces per game. She does give that back to double faults. She averages 2 double faults as well. She's winning 67% of her service games this year, 31% of her return games, and she gets 63% of her first serves in play. And when opponents have the chance to break her, she saves 48% of her break points. She converts 43% of her break points. And Caroline Garcia is one of the best servers on tour this season. That's correct. She's averaging about 7 aces per game. Amazing. She's winning 77% of her service games, but she's only winning 21% of her return games. She's much more better at dictating the offensive pace than she is keeping up with her opponents. And a lot of that is her movement. Sometimes she's very flat-footed and you can get balls past her, and Zong is definitely going to do that. Garcia saves 65% of her break points, which is good. She only converts 39% of her opportunities to break opponent. In terms of double faults, she's pretty consistent. She doesn't make a lot of double faults. She averages about 2 per game, so she nets 5 aces per game. Look, guys, everyone thinks that Zong is going to win this match, and she potentially could. But my official lock for this match is I'm going to take Caroline Garcia to win this match. I think she's serving a lot better, and I think that's going to be a difference maker. She can hold her serve, which she's been doing at a great percentage. I think her aces is going to bail her out of some tough spots like it did with Emma Raducanu. Once the ball's in play, I do think she's a little stronger than Zong. That's going to come into play as well. And unlike France, where Caroline Garcia was not in good form, she wasn't in good form, and she still made it deep to the, I want to say, she made it to the semifinals, right? The semifinals in Lyons. But she wasn't in good form. I mean, I watched that whole tournament, and Garcia was just feeding off of the crowd. The difference is right now she's in good form, and I think it's payback. I like Caroline Garcia as a money line. That's a lock. That's one of 2 locks, guys. If you listen so far, please like the video. Click notifications so when I post these videos, you'll get them. This next match, Jabeur versus Diane Parry. Jabeur is big time, and I'm not going to spend much time on this match. I like Jabeur to win this match in straight sets. Really not much value on it, but I think Jabeur, Coco, Gauff, right now they're separating themselves from the competition, and they're going to go cruising into the round of 16, and it's going to shape up pretty quickly on who's got a chance to seriously win this thing, and Jabeur is one of those players. Elise Mertens and Angelique Kerber. These 2 ladies have played twice before. Mertens won the most recent 2019 Doha, and Kerber beat Mertens at the Holtman Cup in 2018. But Kerber on the year is 13-10. She did capture her title against against Yvonne. And look, that was a match she probably should have lost, winning the Strasbourg. And I mean, she won it, but I think she should have lost it. Yvonne just choked down the stretch, but Kerber's 4-1 on grass so far this year. She's 13-10 overall. Elise Mertens is 3-3 on grass, 16-13 overall. And it's one of the tougher matches to call. I mean, Elise has split 5 of her last 10, and Elise Mertens just doesn't look good. It's tough just seeing her struggle. I mean, she lost to Kat McNally. She lost to Flipkins, who just retired. So I don't know what's going on. She doesn't really look like she's herself lately on the court. So it could be mental, could be physical. But Angelique Kerber she's not a strong server. She only averages 1 ace per match, and she gives that back in double faults. She's committing 3 double faults per game. She's only winning 66% of her service games, 36% of her return games. She wins 61% of her first serves. So she's not the best returner these days. She's getting a little older, movement's a little bit slower, but she is saving her break points. So the pressure points matter in these tough matches, especially when you're trying to reach the quarterfinals. So she's good at pressure points. She converts break points with her opponents against the ropes at 67%. Elise Mertens, the better server of the two, averages just under 4 aces per game, making a lot of double faults. I mean, it was a shame to see how many double faults she made last match. Elise Mertens is averaging about 6 double faults a game, so she's going to give up service points. She's only winning 65% of her service games, 37% of her return games. She's breaking opponents only at a 46% rate. I mean, that's got to be higher for someone like Elise. She's only saving 47% of her break points. I mean, those numbers they're just shocking numbers for someone of Elise's caliber. But nonetheless, Kerber's the 15th seed, Elise Mertens the 24th seed, and I tell you guys all the time, Elise Mertens makes it into the round of 32 pretty comfortable in these slams. This is where she starts to choke up. This match can go either way. This is definitely the toughest match on the schedule today, because I feel Elise Mertens can beat Kerber. I feel she can pull it all together and Kerber can just choke. But I do like the best pick. I like Elise Mertens. She's getting 2 free games the first set. I don't see Kerber running away with the first set landside. If Elise Mertens serves first, she can get broken and still cover. And she could win it outright, to be honest with you. I like Elise Mertens getting 2 free games the first set. That's the official pick. If I had to pick a winner, I'd probably lean with Kerber because she's playing a little bit better, but I don't like the 3-1 odds on Kerber. So first set plus 2 games with Mertens, and that's the official pick. Dog or pass. This next match, I'm actually curious to see who's going to pull this off, because I feel this match can go either way. Yvonne versus Heather Watson. They've played only once. That was last year at the US Open, and Yvonne, she eliminated Heather Watson in the first round. But I was actually shocked that Heather Watson got bounced by Yvonne last year in the first round. This could be a payback, because trust me, Heather Watson does not forget that. 6-1, 6-4. That first set was pretty darn ugly. Heather Watson 17 on the year, 4-3 on grass, and she had a injury prone last year where she was only 10-20. I mean, in 2020, Heather Watson was 25-12, and 2017, 32-27. Her best years, of course, probably behind her. She's 30 years old now, 40-20 in 2014. We remember those good years. Yvonne look, she's new. She's coming on the scene. I mean, she is 22, so it's not like she's a really young teenager, but she's 26-13 this year. She started off this year by beating Sabalenka. 2-2 on grass, though. I do like the win over Beatrice Haddad, who's playing very, very well. That's a big one for Yvonne. But other than that, Yvonne, I mean, she's won 6 of her last 10. Heather Watson won 5 of her last 10 with the 2 wins here. Other than that, Heather Watson losses to Marino, Sorenko, Gavovic, Lynette. This is a match here. It could go either way, and I'm gonna watch it just to see who can dominate and establish court control. One thing we do know is Heather Watson's gonna have the crowd behind her like crazy. Heather Watson averages about 3 aces per game. She gives 2 of them back in double faults. She's only winning 60% of her service games. She's gonna have to improve that number, 32% of her return games. She breaks opponents at a 53% opportunity when she has them against the ropes, and she saves 51% of her break points. This is a match that could potentially go over. Yvonne serving a lot better though, averages 2 aces per game, gives them back in double faults. 69% of her service games she's winning, 38% of her return games. She breaks opponents at a 48% rate when she has them up against the ropes and those pressure points, and she saves 56% of her break points. I like, to be honest with you, I like Yvonne to win the first set. I think she'll win the first set on the money line. Heather Watson starts slow. Match after match is like she's down late in the first set, comes back in the second set. I like Yvonne to win the first set. That's the official pick. I do think Heather Watson probably might even win the second set or go to a tiebreak in the second set and cover the spread. But take Yvonne to win the first set. But, you know, can Heather Watson win that match? She can definitely win that match. Yvonne, a 2-1 favorite. I don't like that at all. I think she'll win the first set, though. All right, so we have another lock. I gave you one lock earlier. Hopefully you watched the video and caught that one. This is another lock. Marie Puskova versus Alison Riss. Alison Riss is 28th seed here. These two ladies have never played against each other. Alison Riss is 8 years the senior of Marie Puskova. Marie Puskova is 24 years old. Alison Riss is 32 years old. Technically she has a birthday that's coming up in 2 days, so she will be officially 32 in 2 days. But Alison Riss, happy early birthday. And we'll start with Marie Puskova. Marie Puskova is 24-9 this year, 17-6 on hard. That's her best surface. She plays pretty decent on clay though. She's 2-1 on grass this year. And Marie Puskova with wins over Lee and Danielle Collins in the first round. That was a huge win over Danielle Collins. I called that underdog upset. That was a lock. I gave it to you guys. Puskova's won 7 of her last 10. She's got some good wins in there. Yastremska, Pliskova, Farrow, who's very active and fit, and Alison Riss has won 6 of her last 10. Not really impressed by how she's looked the first couple rounds here, to be honest with you. And the 6th of her last 10 wins. I mean, she did lose the final in Nottingham to Beatrice Haddad. That was a tough one to watch, very tough. But Beatrice pretty much controlled that match from start to finish. Alison Riss so far this year, 18-13, 9-7 on hard, 6-3 on grass. Alison Riss plays very good on grass, so keep that in mind. So there's no doubt that she's going to be the favorite in this match, and she clearly is the favorite. Alison Riss, she likes to beat you with her backhand. Decent server. She averages, excuse me guys, I got cut off there. But Alison Riss, decent server. She averages 4 aces per game. She gives 3 of them back in double faults. She wins 64% of her first serves. Her second serve, she wins 47%. So if you can put the pressure on her, especially make her go deep into these second serves, then it's going to be a 50-50 chance for Marie Puskova to score points. And she saves about 58% of her break points. She converts opponents when they're under pressure at a 39% break point opportunity rate. However, though, Alison Riss, she's winning 71% of her service games, so she's getting it done. To be honest with you, Marie Puskova was not a threat on her serve at all. That's one. She's one of the, you know, I don't want to say she's weak, but she's not a strong player at all when it comes to serving. But she can hold though. She wins 73% of her service games, 36% of her return games. She breaks opponents when they're up against the ropes at 40%. and she saves 55% of her break points. She averages 3 double faults per match, and Marie Bouzkova, this is going to come down to a couple things. Alison Riss wants to beat you with her backhand. Of the two ladies, I think Marie Bouzkova she's a lot fitter. I think she's faster, and I think she's probably, even though Alison Riss is the more experienced player, I think Marie is the more, I'd say she's the smarter player. She plays to her strengths, and she forces her opponents to beat them with it. And Marie is the type of player, she's very analytical. You can tell she figures out her opponents. She's calculating her next move. Just watch her play. You can see it in her game because she's a defensive player. I think Bouzkova is going to make Alison Riss try to beat her with her forehand. And if she can pull that off, Alison Riss is going to make a lot of mistakes. And I think this is a match where I have a lock for Marie Bouzkova to win at least one set. That's -190. Marie to win at least one set. That's a lock. That's your second lock today. I gave you 2 locks. They both will hit. Enjoy. And to be honest with you, I think Marie is going to win this match outright as the underdog. I can see Marie beating Alison Riss. If she beat Danielle Collins, Alison Riss is a little bit easier. She doesn't have to worry about backhands and forehands powerful coming at her. Alison Riss has a strong backhand, but she can be beat if you make her hit that forehand. I think Marie's going to do that. She's going to do it well. Take Marie to win at least one set. That's the lock, and that's a potential upset alert. This has been good energy, guys. Thanks for tuning in to the video. Please donate to the PayPal link below. Like, subscribe if you aren't. Hit the notification bell so you can know when I post videos. And we'll be back for the second half of the round of 32. And join me for the live coverage of the matches today. Thank you, guys.